Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I can do it like a house beat. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I can do it like a house beat. Now let's bang.
Alright, let's go.
Saliba is not good, by the way.
Bastard.
You know they show when you not do like that.
I mean, Konate is a better defender.
Ogun kills a Konate.
He's a better defender, but Saliba is...
The show start.
I bet make show start.
It's not
Make show
possible.
start. I know say Naimeka will call strong for this show
As a
today.
pure defender, Konate is better.
Pure. That's what I want to hear. Pure. That's so pure.
But are you talking about on the ball and overall, then maybe we can have an argument.
Now,
Thank you.
Let's go.
Let's start.
You have been saying let's start for like 10 minutes.
Attire. That's what we always do.
But Konate na senior player, sha.
Stop this nonsense. With our own constraints. If they go not leave the show,
Shola, that's so.
It's okay.
Alright, let's do it.
Make you know first come up for the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome along to our Hindsight Podcast Studios. I am UB and doing of it alongside THP regular, starting off with TikTok favorite and everyone's favorite punter, Mr. Inewan Monday. Next up, double award winning podcaster and Twitter sweethearts, Mr. IBK Sports, who is Christmas ready, by the way. And joining us on the podcast today is a man who knows about the joys and now the sleepless nights of fatherhood, Mr. Emeka Nwani. Good to have you here as well.
Thanks so much.
And of course, also joining us is the first female pigeon commentator out of Africa and the voice to hear on your Premier League commentaries on the weekends. None other than Tris Chappelle, even though I get the sense she prefers to be called Chief Swore. Swore, good to see you here as well.
Father Christmas.
And last but not the least, the man who knows all about the joys of the three-letter words. Here we go. The new Sporting Lagos head coach. Please make welcome for the only Chief Shola Adegogun. Shola, it's good to see you. So good to see you, Shola. I feel like, you came Christmas ready, even without the memo. You're wearing red. We're all in the Christmas, hats and all that kind of stuff. Great to see everybody here. Happy Christmas to everybody, by the way. It's our last show of the year, so we pretty much wanted to make an expanded cast, if you like, just to capture the moments. This episode is brought to you by GigaWin, who have been with us for the last quarter of the year. So shout outs to every single one who rocks with the brand GigaWin, the first crypto gaming platform in Africa. Gentlemen, good to see you. How's fatherhood been? Congratulations. Thanks
so much. It's good to be back. I can't wait to argue with Ini, especially. It's good to be back. It's been amazing. 2 months in now.
Yeah.
I think anybody that's a father already will know what I mean.
Yeah.
Until you experience it, then you really feel it.
Yeah.
It's like emotions on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But honestly, we just thank God. Wife
is a boy or girl?
It's a boy. It's a
boy.
Yeah? He's already started small. My you songs are already playing in the background. I'm just like playing with his feet a bit. So yeah, no, but we thank God.
Do you have a Are you guys looking forward to whose name he says first? Who he says first?
So to be honest, I just wanted to play ball. That's no, right. But yeah,
you can swap that. You can say your mom's name first, but you can play ball.
But I know, but honestly, we thank God. And I'm happy. Like I've kind of. I've grown with you guys in this experience. You guys, maybe when I got married, you guys came for my wedding.
Yep.
And now, so
I like it. I
appreciate you guys.
I like it. Emeka is one of the guys who I'm always like, when I'm watching the game, I'm like checking his tweets. I'm like, but it's good to see Emeka as well after a while. So great stuff there. So great to see you. I mean, you're my guy, but there's always an extra feeling where, I'm listening to the pigeon commentaries on the weekends and I hear you as well. So you're pretty much tired of talking about football, but you gotta, just manage for today, isn't it?
No, I'm hanging with good people, and the vibe is already legit.
Yeah.
Make her near the mic well.
Yep.
I'm hanging with good people. The vibe is legit, and it's a great way to end the year. Blessed God knows, I want to sit down one podcast, make her pour my mind down before year go end.
Yeah.
This year has been a lot.
I've been told that you would we will see you next year a bit more often. So we're locking that in very early. Shola, I want to speak to you about the journey, because just like Emeka as well, I met you when you hadn't started. When you started coaching, but you didn't have a head coach job. So. Please put your hands together for Shola. I tell you what, right? And I said it before. Shola is one of the bright, football minds in this country, and I say that with all sense of understanding. And he's here to join us once more. Shola, congratulations on the job. How's that feeling?
A bit unnerving. It's a challenging role, honestly, and it's new for me. It's my first in quote professional gig. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to the challenge. So excited as well, and hoping it turns out good basically.
Yeah, great stuff. Congrats. And I'm just told you have to, speak into your microphone a little bit. Gentlemen, you need the introduction, and of course, we've put you on the fringes.
I need to
Abike, I like the collection of shirts these days. What's happening? I see you're losing weight, and you're trying to make us know that you're losing weight.
I dey try. I guys change. This show every week, you guys they find clothes to wear. See, take it going next year.
Yeah, we need a stylist.
Yes, the guys bring style and wardrobe guys did.
Yeah,
at least 50 shirts per year.
Well, please bring our cake because last week was my birthday and on Sunday.
You slide.
Abike was trying to set me up, but I managed to escape that. It is good to have you as well. You told me Madame and the baby went for Christmas and left you at home.
Left me.
Take it out and bring it.
It's been boring actually. It's been boring for last few nights. I go hear small scat. Why I go stand and say, God, what kind of problem is this? When you're lonely at home, and I didn't
look at them bonding on trauma.
I never stayed. Among my brothers, I was one that I didn't go to boarding school. I stayed at home. I schooled from home.
Right.
So staying alone is, it still gives me.
Yeah.
They make me feel small. Yeah. I go just hear one sound like this. I say, "Oh, blood of Jesus!" They make me feel. So.
But it's actually great that all three of you, Emeka, Ini, and Wale, I all met them as single men. With no children, but all three of you. Yeah. No,
This white beard no be die. Natural, I beg you.
Oh man.
The thing with like this, you say, like Ini said, I think for me, when I had the free house, for me the first day, I'm always like, you're relaxing. I can move around in the house. I leave my plane. Then like after a few days, like, come on, what am I?
What you guys?
What am I really doing?
I swear, I enter cylinder mode when we say my picking on the house. I'll just be like, if this was could talk. But just they walk out, they look close, they smell things. So it pisses me off.
So you actually miss the kids when they're not around, no?
Bro, that's why you have to time it now.
Of course.
Yeah. Wale is also a testifier. Shola, any kids yet?
No.
Not yet, yeah?
Is that Shola Lookman?
Not yet. Definitely. Abike, any kids?
You come my wedding with I invite you for any wedding.
Yamal is the first. I was just
you want to say anything. Me my babe good things. I don't want picking the Lagos. I beg, be careful. I beg.
So look, this part of the show is what we call the meme watch, and I think it's very interesting to wrap the year off with some of the best comments. We're looking forward to seeing the guys read out some of the best comments they've seen on the podcast this year. I think we've had some amazing ones. Yeah. And I was just, looking at some of the memes from this weekend. Someone said, when I don't start again, who don't go put Christmas life for must? So I was like, we have to actually go through these things today. But I just get the sense that today we're going to have a really feel-good type show. Of course, we're going to touch base with some great topics as well. But it's also important to mention that, being the last show of the year, we really want to thank everyone who's, been rocking with us all through the year. I think this has been our best year. Can we say that? No?
Yeah.
It's been our best year of the podcast, 2024. So thank you very much, guys. And,
yes.
We're glad to end that on a high, hoping that next year, is even better. I want us to start with a conversation which I saw on TikTok, actually, which is where we actually have our biggest fan base. We've got maybe 50K followers on there. And shout out to everyone there. About the Gen Z population didn't quite realize, who Obafemi Martins was. And I was just looking at the comments, to the surprise on people's faces, like, and he's like, Robin, I'm faster than him, probably better with the ball. I think there's a bit of a comma there. Robin is good with the ball. But what you guys make of that?
For me, when I just think of Obafemi, I don't know if you guys played Pro Evolution back in the day. 99 pace, 99 acceleration, monster.
You couldn't touch him.
You couldn't touch him. Strong, low center of gravity, rocket of a left foot. Bro. For me, he was explosive. I think that's the word. So when you compare to maybe Robin on the ball, okay, I don't agree with that. But like I feel he's definitely very underrated because in the Premier League, obviously for Newcastle, again he had those explosive and exciting moments. So I think he was just one of those guys that even today I think he will make a big impact. But if you didn't watch him, ask anybody that was in that generation, let's say in the 90s, early 2000s, that were born in that 90s, early 2000s area, like played Pro Evolution.
Yeah.
Obafemi 99. Just remember 90. Don't see all the stats. You see some average. You don't see red 99.
Oh boy, that guy in a cheat code then. If you use Cambiaso,
Adriano.
Yep. Now them I tell you they play this thing for a coast. Also the for Sassoli Gate for Uniben. When Arteta they play game, now Inter Milan. Cambiaso.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
Adriano, you are good and good. See, now you be the first Nigerian when because they ball for inside gaming. No.
Yeah.
So if you say you don't know, I'm going to educate yourself.
So that made me think, right? I'm going to touch you guys as well on that. That made me think about, the players who have been hit by injuries, because obviously injuries curtailed, his form and his longevity ultimately. And someone said which club did you think Obafemi Martins had his best year? And someone said Quilox.
That person no life. He followed that bros for IG,
which is really much where you always find him. Right. But I wanted to ask you, if there's one player who you could, give an injury-free career, because I was watching the thing, I was thinking if this guy didn't have an injured career, he would have been a lot better player. Who's the one player you would have, loved to see injury-free?
Probably Kaka. I think when it was good, it was phenomenal. I think he was the last person before Neymar to really compete with Cristiano and Messi. And at that point, he was better than both of them. I would have loved to see what would have happened if 3-4 years later he was still fully fit.
So Kaka for you?
Yeah.
Who would you have had?
Personally, I'll say Adriano because, I really loved his promise. Before there was a Neymar, everybody was talking about how this guy was going to do that.
Was Adriano injury or more emotional?
So I think for me, it was a bit of both. Some injuries puts him back, and then the mental depression and everything would just make him lose guard. So for me, I feel like that guy for fit do things because the way into the control ball then, very instinctive. Yeah. And these days, boys know they make you that excited when we say that they step up the whole ball. And Drano was that guy, he go whole ball. And you just they wait. Yeah. And you know say you go rush. Whatever he does, he just does it right. So now that guy, Nigerian footballer, I'm not vessel. But Drano was the guy.
Who I think for me, there's one very obvious one, and it's R9, Ronaldo, phenomenal. It has to be. Like his record from PSV, Gremio, he was scoring 30, 40 goals already as a teenager. Went to Barcelona, Inter Milan, then he had the bad knee injury. And even when he came back and was a bit overweight playing for Brazil and then Madrid, he was still one of the best players in the world. I think ability-wise, talent-wise, you speak to people back then, again, maybe younger viewers, he was as good as Messi, Ronaldo, talent-wise.
I think it was better.
He was probably better, right? But injuries really curtailed him. And the second one that maybe people might not know as much is Van Basten. Retired at 28, 29.
Like, how old are you again?
I'm 32. I'm a historian of the game. So he retired about 28, 29. But if you look at his goal scoring record before then, it was as good as these people that we're talking about today.
He won 3 Ballon d'Ors.
3 Ballon d'Ors. Scored crackers from all angles. And again, like, during that period, sometimes players their goal scoring records were not necessarily like it is now. But he was one of those guys that was scoring like a goal every 2 games, a goal every 1.8 games. But of course, he had a really bad knee injuries and his injuries.
I saw Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer talking about them, and when those two talk about strikers, they know something about it. And Gary Lineker was waxing lyrical about Van Basten. He said that without those injuries, he thinks that Van Basten will be mentioned in the same light with the R9s, the Messi, because he thought that guy was just unbelievable.
They said something about
for me, the one player, maybe a bit of bias, but I feel like he could have been an unbelievable footballer if injuries didn't mess with him. Is Abu Dhabi. Every time I think about him, I feel really bad about him because I feel like. And it might be a brave thing to say, this guy could have been Patrick Vieira +2, because Patrick Vieira was really good with tackling, striding out with the ball with those long legs. Abu Dhabi was everything Vieira could do and more. He was technical. He was just unbelievable. But injuries just messed the guy up so much that, when you think about it, what a career he could have had. What a career he could have had if not for injuries.
As an Arsenal fan, can I just ask, sorry. So how do you compare that with Wilshere? Would you?
Yeah, another one.
I think it was treated better than Wilshere.
You know?
It was
I think it was treated.
Technical level.
I think he had more overall because he had the technique, he had the physique, the running power. But like, I think Wilshere as well. Like what Wilshere showed at the start, or maybe it was English hype. Maybe I felt for
probably that as well.
Wilshere
I thought Wilshere was special.
more.
I thought Wilshere was special. I thought it was, at the time, I thought it was the closest thing in terms of, you know, talent to Paul Scholes. I thought he was that talent level. He had that thing close to
More
Paul
like Jack
Scholes.
Grealish now.
But
Alpha, relax.
injuries-
I know that.
Relax.
Hold on. This guy played against Barcelona
in
midfield. Hold on. I still remember that commentary. The game Arsenal beat. You go here, Barcelona. Your body go they do here. This guy, they hide Xavi for midfield. The commentator said, he said the boy playing like a man. You know, when I remember Wilshere, when you play in midfield with Xavi and you stand out, bro, it's not a joke. You need the kind of talent level you need.
I tell you what. I think a player for me, I'll go a more defensive player. I think I'd love to see Hargreaves.
Who?
Yeah, I'd love to see Hargreaves.
Hargreaves.
You speak about central midfielders and DMs now, especially the English ones, and I think we've had very few of them who have been able to combine a bit of technique on the ball as well. You know, and I think he had that as well in his game, but just the injuries just couldn't get it going.
Funny how Hargreaves was playing right back for Bayern, right?
So you play right back, and even sometimes the United you play right mid, right back, centre mid, score free kicks. You know, like I remember I scored a big free kick to when we beat
Arsenal.
I remember that.
I remember that goal. I remember where I was. I remember the temperature where
So that's a good shout.
I became really good.
I think I'll have said Hargreaves as well.
Liar.
But no, I did serious. But I think Gareth Bale.
I look and say, man,
Gareth Bale. I feel that I've probably won a Ballon d'Or at some point.
You know, go win, no worry. They play.
But now we should better pass school.
No, mind now.
I know they talk this kind of thing, Gary. This kind.
But bro,
I did not say we should.
I agree.
If they give you a third leg, you know series goals.
How you go win?
I agree with that.
But you see the thing when you talk with this guy.
You club with Ronaldo.
No, you see
this club with Ronaldo. You won't win Ballon d'Or.
Boy was that good.
They look Mbappe.
Boy was that good.
Why not? He was that good. He's the same level with Van Basten. Now the same kind of injuries.
By the way, I want to ask, right? I want to ask a Shola as well. Obviously, you spoke about Van Basten and Kaka, and you know what was mentioned was they were in a time where the numbers weren't as obvious as they are now. They're not putting in your face as much. What's your take on what you see when you play the game? Because, for example, I was watching the Clasico, for example, and I was watching the kid Pedri, right? And after the match, didn't score any goal, didn't assist any goal. But watching it, you could tell he was running the game. You could tell he was just the guy, right? Where are you with this statistics and you know what you would call eye test nowadays and
XG?
I think everything is important. Stats are very, very good if you know how to use them. I think the biggest issue is people read too much into stats and then they interpret what the stats don't mean. And then they read too much into it in that manner in a way that takes away from the qualitative analysis of the game. So both are useful. Eye tests are really good, but at the same time, we have to remember that we are subject to our biases, and certain times your likes for a player might blind you to certain weaknesses that such players have. So you need to balance that with what the data shows. Basically, the top analysts working in clubs in the world will always tell you you have to do both. You have to do both qualitative analysis with video and eye test, basically, and you have to merge that with what the data shows as well.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant response.
So I think I want to ask you a question. So because I saw one clip.
You say you want to ask?
No, like Shola, I saw one clip and I think it was 06 where goal of the month in the Premier League. Bro, those goals were mad. So I realized that players of now, they have become less audacious. Is it down to the fact that, you know, because of there are too many, you know, pattern of play, tactics, and you see player that you are in the shooting range, but you rather pass to your, to your side
to your short
or
team.
pass back. Like, it's becoming really, really crazy, and me, I don't like it. Is it down to the fact that the coach's instruction, or you just feel that these players are not really good enough? Like someone like you, would rather have a very audacious player, or you want a player who will follow instructions?
Let me leave the last question for a bit.
Let it marinate.
On the first part, yes. So I think on the one end, part of the problem is us coaches. On the other end, part of the problem is also the evolution of the sport in itself in terms of statistics. So XG came up and people started to see that long shots were not really efficient in terms of conversion to goals. And so the StatNet basically advised clubs and coaches and players to prefer shooting from more advantageous situations. So people stopped taking, in quote, what we'd consider risky shots. And because they stopped taking them, it also means you stop practicing them. You stop practicing them means you are not as good as doing it again as maybe guys in the previous generations. And also from the coaching perspective, I think for a lot of those guys back then, when they were growing up playing football, a lot of them started majorly with street football. Yeah. They didn't have any instructions. They tried things, they did things freely. And then they could try abnormal, risky, audacious things and master some of those things. And then you become good at it. If you can hit a 25-yard shot consistently, continue hitting it consistently. You will score because
like
you're good at it.
That's the man.
For the players that came up in the following generations, I had a lot of coaches giving a lot of instructions, especially a very pass-centric kind of game idea. And we wanted 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds to pass and look like prime Wenger Arsenal or prime Pep Barcelona. So I think it took a lot away from young players. And then we have the kind of players that we have today where there's a bit too much safety and caution in the game and not enough risk-taking.
And you guys are making
just
more
a follow-up to the question, because I personally feel like there's too much coaching in the game, if there's anything like that. Players have been overcoached. You don't find players who want to be, you don't find instinctive things again, because managers are on the touchline and the players are playing with the head of the manager. Because you don't find managers who are just on the touchline and they're playing the game. Because I see Arteta do it a lot. I see the modern day manager, they are coaching the players in game, be here. Even to a throwing, you see coaches say, throw it to that guy. Is that something that you feel like players are being overcoached? Because I remember Lionel Scaloni, the Argentine coach, said he has a 7-year-old kid, who's playing football, and they're overcoaching his child. And he feels like this generation cannot have a Lionel Messi again, because Messi was not coached like this. Messi was instinctive. Pick the ball up and do whatever you want to do without the restriction of, you have to pass. You have to be in this position. You have to be in that position. So is there something like that in the game now that you feel like players are being overcoached and, taking away their innate talent?
Yeah, I think it's a fair appraisal of what things are. I think it's a bigger problem in youth football than it is at the highest level. For professionals, I don't see it as such a problem as much. But for the younger kids, I feel they need to explore a lot more. I feel they need a lot of street football a lot more. And even some of the best players now are those that had a bit of street football in their growing up years. Mahrez, one of those guys, Pogba a bit, Mbappe a bit, guys that played in French suburbs on the streets. They played cage football. They tried things, and then some of them eventually are the players that they are now. So I think a little bit of too much instructions for young players can be diminishing of their talent in a way that makes them not express enough of themselves.
I wanted to ask you guys, great stuff, guys. I wanted to ask you guys, obviously we had a conversation about Lookman last week, and I'm quite sure you've probably caught up on that as well. And, Rufai made a bold, assessment and said, look, after Vinicius Jr. at the moment in the world, on that left wing position, that inside 10 type, player, there is none better than Lookman. Of course, we've seen the awards on the content, which is pretty much not a surprise to anybody. I wanted to ask if you had a varying, opinion on that, because I've gone in the last couple of days, I've sat back and thought about it more extensively, and I still can't come up with a player who I'd pick over Lookman, bar Vinny.
For me, I would say it's tough because I would like to see it for a bit longer. I would like to see it for a bit longer. But if you're talking about current form, I mean, he's definitely up there. But if you're looking in totality, so again, we said Vinny, you don't want to count Mbappe as that position, fair enough. But I think Leao is just as talented, if not more talented. But I think Lookman is in a better moment right now. I don't think if I had at United, I would rather take Leao than Lookman personally. Leao is quicker, stronger, skillful. His end product sometimes can be a bit erratic, but he still gets you 12, 15 goals a season. And I think he has that physical presence. And I think he's a better footballer than Lookman personally. I think Rafinha at Barcelona, he's playing on the left. He might not be an inside. He's not cutting in on his right foot and scoring, but he's a left-footed, left winger, left attacking midfielder. Yeah. I think Rafinha is also playing in a better team, leading Barcelona as their captain most weeks, scoring in the Champions League. I think he's still a better player than Lookman. But other than that, Musiala, do you count Musiala as a left winger?
No, not necessarily.
Because he's again, but in football today, if you're looking at wingers, just like pure wingers, again, it's kind of now they're a lot more like inside forward, a lot more technical, like left attacking midfielders. So if you're going to just say a pure left winger with Lookman, then you're just looking at the likes of Martinelli, Rashford, like Leao, just pure wingers. Yeah. But if you're looking at left players that come off that left hand side, I think you have to I'd rather have someone like Musiala playing in that position for like Man United now, with them under Ruben Amorim with the 2 number 10s coming on the left. I still think they're better players than Lookman, but as a pure winger, I think, like I said, I think he would have been perfect for Arsenal on that left hand side. He's a better player than Martinelli, better player than Trossard. Like why not play him in that kind of club at that level? So he's at that level, but there are a few other players I would pick ahead of him. Yeah. But if he continues for a bit longer, now he's African Player of the Year. He's done it for a year, hat-trick in the Europa League final. So another season, and why not?
Sounds good.
Kvaratskhelia in Napoli as well. Is he Kvaradona?
Nah, not quite on the level.
I think he's.
So the thing with our guy Lookman is that guy that earlier we were having a conversation about a home, or where we say you see him, but you don't really see him and realize what a talent he is. I think most Nigerians actually started discovering that guy is very gritty, very wiry, and very cunning with the ball for inside the AFCON. I said I did for Ivory Coast. They see the guy, bigger guys, he go drop deeper. He's a very smart
player.
I've seen Leao play. I've seen him play. All the guys you called. Probably the only person that will be close to him is Vinicius. But we won't take him over Vinicius for one reason, because this guy can defend for days. For days, he goes at you. When they look, the statistics were not they show, because we're having a conversation on statistics. Vinicius don't get bad days.
We don't listen now.
Vinicius don't get bad days, but man not deviate. You see that stats that we're calling. Most times we'll see the stats of the person that made the interception, the person that made the key pass, the person that made the assist. You see the stats for the person when drag people away from position. And that is what he was so great at. That I was like, bro, that's not a man to sleep on. I think that's the guy. I think he's redefining what the inside forward position is. Most times they're always attacking minded. But if you can play like a Lookman and still be able to drop to the center and still hard body, bro, you are complete. I think he's a complete
complete player.
It's a really good point.
Right.
It's a really good point.
In this week, obviously, one of the players that has come up,
Did I get a clap from IBQ? God damn it!
For a conversation.
God damn it!
But
it's a Christmas share, right?
Yeah, you tried.
I wanted to speak about obviously the Manchester derby, which of course we've seen, but the aftermath of that, saw the whole Rashford situation, and I just wanted to, give it maybe 3 minutes.
Did he say he's leaving at the end of this season?
I think what he said is he's ready for a new challenge.
He said I want a new challenge. The coach don't talk. Said the new challenge inside the club. No.
But I just not from a Rashford perspective. And I'm going to talk to you about this. I think the coach has been very clever about the way he's gone about handling and diffusing that. He's pretty much taking it away from the media, if you like, and because Shola is here, it's a nice way to milk him as much as possible. As far as I was thinking about Ten Hag and how he probably would have handled that, And just from watching the questions, because look, the first section of the interview is 4 minutes plus. Second segment is about 8 minutes, which is about 12 minutes. And every single question was about Rashford, right? Under Ten Hag, he probably would have battered away the first couple of questions, but then would have, he would have collapsed ultimately, and it would become a bigger issue. But I don't think any journalist walked away from that presser thinking, I've got a story here, right? Yeah. To work with. And you're a coach. I mean, is that something that comes to your mind when you're thinking about, when you watch this, the big coaches and say, oh, they handle that very well?
We're in a different context from they are. They are in the eyes of the entire world, and almost every statement.
No, I'm asking just from an observational point of view. Yeah,
every smile means something. But yeah, I think he answered quite well and was diplomatic and made it feel like it's an inside issue that they will deal with internally rather than something that he should speak about in public. He's been put in a difficult position with Rashford's comment. I don't know if that was deliberate from Rashford and his representatives, but I think he's handled the media well on it. He's been coy and has tried to keep it in-house, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. Emeka, you're a United fan, so what are observations from Amorim's? Because I think the biggest part of managing United is the personality of the manager. We've seen very talented managers come and go, and I think we can all agree that it's not been about lack of talent, because I think Ten Hag is a good coach, right? Some things ultimately, I think in the end there was a bit of paranoia, if you like, and those things can subconsciously have a counter effect on your job. But we've seen Mourinho, we've seen Van Gaal, who big personalities. We've seen David Moyes, but it's almost like when you watch Ruben Amorim, he's got the first thing that strikes you about him. It's not the tactics, it's just the likability, the personality, he's chatty. He's not worried about what you throw at him.
Yeah. I think in terms of that, like, no question, Amorim is a much better communicator, much more charismatic, and like it helps. Like, as much as humans we don't like to say it, but like little things like that help. Yeah. Like even how you look. Like you might.
So you like it?
Even how you look. Like he looks the part, right? Yeah. Ten Hag, he didn't look the part and he didn't speak the part, but you might have the knowledge, and that's only a bit of it.
Yeah.
Arteta came eighth twice, right? But you speak, he could encourage, like, why? It's a process. But Ten Hag, he didn't really sound as convincing, and it got to a point where he said, like, the paranoia that he almost like trying to gaslight people on what they were seeing. So that was kind of an issue. Like, he'd be like, oh, we played well, we won 2 trophies, but no, we didn't play well. But Amorim, you can see the communication. But in regards to Rashford, I think he's handled it very well. For context, Rashford, since the Fergie era was over, this new era, Rashford has been like my favorite player because he's represented to me he's the representation of Man United. He's one of the only few academy kids that have actually succeeded since Fergie, scored 138 goals for us. 27. He's won.
Staggering, actually.
He's won. Like you don't realize it. Like but the issue is that
Una milk him na him make una not let the boy rest for scrum.
The issue, but young players now play. If you're good enough, you play. Saka has been playing consistently for 4 or 5 years now.
Because they're not milk him initially.
What do you mean by milk?
If you just let Becca finish, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So in terms of how Amorim handled it, I think he's handled it very well. In Rashford's situation, I think he has to take some blame for the situation now, because I feel he could have done more himself, but I also think the club has failed him in terms of development. Yeah. Again, if Saka was...
What do you mean the club has failed him?
So first of all, he's constantly changing managers with different philosophies, poor structure, poor recruitment. I think if you have the most talented players at Man United, is the reason why from 2012 to 2024, you can't count 5 players on your hand that you say have been successful.
So I want to ask a question, right? When you say the club has failed him,
yes.
When you look at the best players, I have the opinion, the best players stay true to their game, regardless of the manager, right?
Okay.
I'll just land a little bit, right? When you watch, for example, Lamine Yamal for Spain or Barcelona, same quality, right?
Okay.
Different,
positions.
I mean,
but it's a structure.
No, there's a structure. There's a structure.
But there's a reason why have no player at United succeeded apart from Bruno.
Hold on, right? Lamine Yamal, I mentioned, Dani Olmo, Spain, goes to Barcelona, has an injury, comes back, bang, same thing. Kylian Mbappe, for all the criticism he's getting at Madrid, his second top scorer in the league, right? I think the best players, regardless of who the manager is, the quality and the mentality is the most important thing.
Find the way around.
Right? They find the way around it. The manager ultimately always says, you know what? The best managers always say, with the best players, you just create a system that allows them to ultimately show what they can do. But it's not about, you let them down.
But I disagree because I feel someone like Phil Foden, let's say Phil Foden is technically brilliant. He plays one way for Man City, plays another way for England. And again, the reason why I say Man United is a problem, because again, I ask you, name players that have succeeded at Man United. We've signed players at their peak. We signed Pogba, we signed Lukaku, we signed Di Maria, we signed players at their peak. We signed some players that are over the hill. But there is a reason why players don't succeed at Man United. And it's not just because they're not good enough. It's because Sancho's
not good enough.
No, hold on. He came from Dortmund. He did what he did. 20 goals, 20 assists. Even till now, if you see the stats, has the most goal involvements for any under 21 player, whatever. Sancho is a good player, and now under Amorim, ironically, he would actually be good in this number 10 role. Yeah. But you can't tell me Sancho is not a good player. How do you go from there to where you can't score more than 2-3 goals in a season?
So I'll tell you what I think, right, about good players. I think the word good players, and we spoke about this last week as well. The word good players and the word, world-class players has been used indiscriminately. Okay. Right. And very good player. A very good player is Daniel Olmo.
Yeah, but
right. Just so. Okay. That's a very good player, right? A very good player is Bruno Fernandes. He's not world-class.
Okay,
right.
But he's been consistent.
Right. No, he's been consistent, right? Okay. That's a very good player. Right. N'Golo Kante is a world-class player. Right. Kevin De Bruyne is a world-class player. Okay. Right. Or a very good player, depending on if you want to bring in the country. Right.
Right. Kevin De Bruyne is the world-class. But say it again.
No.
Kevin De Bruyne is
you have to repeat it.
Kevin De Bruyne is a world-class player, right? I mean, just to. But when you go to players like Sancho, players like Rashford, right? What has to happen over time is that you've had people bandy this word world-class.
Yeah.
Just little below world class, for players who aren't actually as good as they are. So for Sancho, for example, Sancho is not better. Sancho's not better than Wilfred Zaha. It's pretty simple to see, right?
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, sure.
When Kevin De Bruyne went from Wolfsburg to Man City, was he world class?
No.
But he developed into that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point. You sign these very young, talented players. Sancho was definitely better than Zaha because Sancho had done it in the Champions League and done it in a competitive league. So you might say it's not Premier League, but Sancho at 19, 20 was doing...
Is Sancho as good as Son Heung-min?
No, but that's my point. My point is, so of course, no, Son is like 8 years older.
Yeah.
So my point is like, so you get players like Sancho, you have Rashford that when he was young, 18, 19, he's scoring 15 goals, 20 goals, 21 goals when we got to Europa League final. But there's a reason these players don't develop. Like Pogba at Juventus, from Juventus, what was he doing at Juventus? Then he comes to United, he's not doing that anymore.
I'm sorry.
Di Maria, what was he doing in Madrid? Then he comes to United, he's not doing it anymore. So there is a reason why it's not just that these players are not good. Right. If we want to say we didn't sign him at world class, Sancho wasn't world class when we signed him. But you sign him for that money.
It's a good player.
You sign him for that money. No, but you sign him for that money, and it was really highly coveted because he could develop into that. Aguero wasn't world class when City signed him. Saka wasn't world class 3 years ago.
Still not.
Saka is a world-class player. If you're saying Lookman is second best left winger in the world, that means he's world-class.
I didn't call him world-class.
But if you're the second best left winger in the world, then you're world-class.
No, it doesn't. No,
that means you're the second best left winger in the world. How can you be world-class?
It's not the same thing. We're talking about form.
That was based on moments.
And you spoke about we're talking about form, right?
So you're just saying he's just second best in form. So he's not a
world-class
player.
Of course. Like you said.
So you don't think Saka is a world-class player?
Look, we had this argument last week, right? We had this debate last week, and we don't want to go into it again. I just think that
will Saka have developed the same way he has at Arsenal at United?
Saka's had the same amount of changes. No,
he hasn't. He had two managers.
Emery played everywhere.
He has had two managers. He has had two managers. If Saka was at Man United, I can guarantee you he would not have had the same career he has had at Arsenal.
Yeah, right.
He would crash.
I agree with Emeka. I think that these things matter a lot. Changing managers can halt the development of a young player. Because a manager comes in and all of a sudden he doesn't want to play in that same way again, or he doesn't want to approach the game in a different way. And with the Rashford thing, I don't want to blame the club more than I want to blame the player, because I feel like the player has contributed. If the club has to take a percentage of the blame, it has to be 20%. I think it's 80% on the player, because I feel like
that's fair.
I feel like the player could have done more. I feel like the player hasn't helped himself in many ways. he hasn't worked hard enough. He's rested on his laurels, and because I see that there are certain aspects of a player that you have to keep developing. Rashford was pacey when we first saw him. Later on in his career, we found out that this boy could hit the ball.
Yeah, he could shoot.
He could hit the ball really well.
Even free kick.
The funny thing is that 6-7 years after, that's all I can talk about Rashford. Pace, shoots.
So
there are no aspects of his game where you feel, oh, he's developed this. He's working better as a team player. And I said this I think it was a year ago, that the game has moved on from Rashford. The game has moved on from just being a player who's running into space and having a crack at goal. Now, if you look at Saka, that's why when you see how Saka plays for Arsenal, the right-hand side of Arsenal is Arsenal's strongest point.
Yeah.
And not just because of how well Saka plays on an offensive situation, but how well he returns, he backs the fullback up.
Yeah.
Rashford has not gotten to that space in his game where he feels like he needs to be more responsible on the pitch. And in the modern game, no manager who is worth his salt will play you if you're not willing to do the hard graft for the team.
If you're not Messi or Ronaldo, nobody sees that kind of attitude.
Is that cultural thing?
Yeah. That's where I say I agree with Emeka, because that could be a club thing. That could be just how people are allowed to get away with things at a football club.
Every time people talk about Rashford, people forget how he started. And it's very easy to, go at him.
Oh, I don't. I remember everything. I put into context.
I remember back in the day, because I did like when Mourinho did do interviews, they cause trouble. Some years back, he talk about how he be say infield Rashford. Said he give him some games, they give him full games. He won't make he progress. Around that time, Rashford and Saka were having similar amount of time on the ball, but Rashford was outperforming. He was getting the goals. United fans, United club, is a club that expects so much because God don't manage bless them with Ronaldo. Before Ronaldo, then is Roy. So they think say they go toe-to-toe. Every generation they get somebody. So they picked Rashford to be the guy and gave him what he wanted. He said he wanted to play more direct. He not want to go through corner. Mourinho para say, Mona not doing like that too. This boy, in go burn, in go crash. Now the crash we they see. That's why I will never come and say, why is Rashford not doing and doing? Because Una rush the meat before it done. The banga never ripe Una pound down. See, Saka now, Ibanga don't ripe. If it get bad day, nobody they cast him because they know that he owns the right.
Emeka certainly
nobody owns
doesn't agree
for United.
One bit.
As far as I'm concerned. And that's the thing. Moving to the managers' conversation. All the managers were nice. The only difference now say, I enjoyed that Mourinho because the guy emotionally intelligent. The younger managers are speaking the language that the boys understand. Because the first work anybody get to do as manager, and let me know if I'm right or wrong here. You be younger, you won't go follow boys when we say, now 4 or 5 years, una take senior each other, like a Mourinho. You have to be able to get them to listen to you. And for them to listen to him, especially the young managers, Nagelsmann, all of them, they go take training. And they follow waiting some of their psychiatrists they do. Yes, they get sports psychology.
No, funny thing, I even feel like with younger managers, because you're close to... So, I understand Emeka's language because we're, we're in the same age brackets, right? I understand the things that... I understand his willingness or his urge to, of course not Emeka in this regard, but take out his phone and do a selfie, right? Which is not something that a Mourinho would understand.
LVG
why is the game
it's
finishing and the first thing you want to do is pick your phone and but as a younger guy, I understand it because I see where it's going. But I'm going to come back to you, Swan, on that, right? But with Shola, when you observe it, right? I'm just going to go wrap up on Rashford quickly and go to Arteta because I want to speak about Arteta.
Bring it on,
this
son.
guy.
Just for a bit.
Bring it on, son. I'm in the mood.
Where does a manager draw the line with a player? Because I think that every manager at United has tried to help Rashford. Everybody's trying to help him. Everybody has said, look, I want to help you as much as possible, but what he does, it's almost like they say one thing now, and the next thing he's saying something else, right? So Ten Hag tried to help him, then you're calling for training, you're sick, then there's a picture of you at a club. Surely that you can only have so many chances, right?
So sorry, before I come in, they know the advice.
It's not you.
They know the advice to people. Person with in love and person with get money.
Yes.
Listen, they collect 400. You say you want advice some.
IBK don't do
I
this
go take
400.
run. Una no serious. Una never ready.
On Rashford, honestly, I don't really know what to think. I'm curious about him leaving and then seeing what happens to him next season.
It is
if
easy.
He does leave. And the reason I say so is Emeka makes a very, very valid point. There's only one player in Man United that you can say he has been a success over the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, Bruno.
And Bruno Fernandes is that player. And even he has gotten a lot of flack from Man United supporters for small spells within that where he wasn't really at his best. And that points more to a larger problem than it just being players. We've seen Maguire didn't start so well at United, but then he goes and I think in his second or his third season, he has a really, really good season.
Yes, sir.
But he can't consolidate on it in the following season. And we've seen the same with Rashford. He had a very good season here and there, and then it's up and down. Dalot, Wan-Bissaka also had one season where he was quite decent. So it just feels like a problem is from the club end rather than the players, because these players are actually talented players. These guys are actually really good players. So for Rashford, I'm curious to see if he leaves and how well he does when he leaves.
Can I just say one final thing on that? So just to be clear, like I do agree that he has to take some blame. Like I said, I'm not saying, because like you said, Ten Hag would literally come out and tell bold-faced lies to the press to protect him. So he's been protected. So when I say the club, I don't mean like the club did anything intentional. I'm just saying the situation of the club has affected his culturally has affected his development. And I think because United are, no matter what anybody say, United are the biggest club in England with the most with the most media scrutiny. They build players and they drop them. So like Rashford, probably he was built to be like, even the amount of conversation about Rashford in the last 9 years or whatever, like he's spoken about like the best player. He's never been the best player in England. But like he gets more press than Kevin De Bruyne,
than Phil Foden.
So like that's also that whole thing as well has really affected him, because he's been put up really, really high on a pedestal, so really, really overhyped. And then when he has his bad years, he's killed. So it's like I just feel like he's just not had it easy, and United fans as well have to take some blame, because I feel we're also very difficult on our academy products.
That's what I feel. You've got to be very careful with the kid Ahmad and
Kobe
you know
as well.
And Kobe. I'm glad with what's happening with Kobe, like in the sense that
small.
You know, he's almost I'm not glad with the injury, but it's almost like this season there is no spotlight on him. Just keep playing, and if you're good enough, you eventually find you find.
Start every game.
I don't want us to spend more time than we should on Rashford. Let's speak about
Spain.
Let's speak about Arteta, right? And look, the reason that I brought this up was I saw a comment about the 3 trophies thing he's won. I don't know if you saw that as well.
That's when desperation has started.
But
pressure don't start.
I wanted to ask, like, what is that about? And I was gonna start with IBK on that, right?
Starting with IBK. Question. Look me talk.
He never talks. He's
right. You go collect my mic too.
Like you have Barcelona question, ask him. This one is my
bro. Let me.
I mean, look.
You will talk.
I've always said that the opinion on what trophy is important depends on who you're asking, right? But Mourinho said, "Look, I won 3 trophies in my first season, right?" And at the time, all the purists said, "Look, he's out of his mind, he's delusional." But I've always felt like if you fought for something in your life, if you want something in your life, it is out of place for someone else to say, "Oh, this is the value of what it means to you." Do you understand? I feel that finally somebody agrees with what I've been saying. Look, I think the Shield is a trophy. It's not obviously the Premier League title.
You can feel something but be wrong.
No, fair.
But it's not officially a trophy. Like, no matter what he feels, like, it will not be counted as, Arsenal.
But he didn't just walk on the street and they gave it to him and say, you can't come.
So, like, if you look at history and they say trophy winners, Community Shield is not added to your trophy count. Like,
but why is the Super Cup in other countries?
Because this is because again, it's the significance that the English people had put on it, in the sense where, so now you have, first of all, you can even do roll off? You can do some weird things with your substitutions that you can't do in Premier League games.
But that's Spain, in Italy,
yes.
The Super Cup is a trophy.
Yes,
it's an official trophy.
Yes.
Like the winners of the cup and the winners of the league.
So in England, for whatever reason, and that's why they it's not counted because there's if we check it now, there's something they can do with subs that is not an official game. Even your goals don't count to your official season tally.
Right.
So if you score a hat trick, if you score 10 goals in Community Shield, you have scored 0 goals when the season starts.
But having said that, right? Have you ever seen somebody? Have you ever seen him say, "Just say, Bournemouth, please come and play the Community Shield and open the season."
You
Right?
earn the right. The point you making that you earn the right
to play there.
to play.
I don't disagree, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't like. So we don't make the rules. So it's not counted.
Again, just say what you said. You told me that the fact that I feel a way about something, I could be wrong about it, is the way a rule could be wrong. For example, I think some of the rules in football are absolute dross, right? But I was gonna ask IBK, like, if you won something and somebody told you, "Oh, you didn't win anything," but we had to play the best team in the country twice to win those things, right?
So
shouldn't account for anything.
So when you start a season, and I remember playing full manager that year, and the club will list priorities for the season as a manager. So what they list is, I think, the league, the cup, and the Champions League. Like, they will tell you to win at least one silverware. That's if you are managing maybe Arsenal, if you are managing Barcelona or these big clubs. So I think the issue of Community Shield is based on, I think, your own personal priorities. Because in the end, I've seen pictures where
Can he sell that to the Arsenal fan base and say,
yes, he can.
Look,
Yes,
we've won. Look,
yes,
I mean,
he can.
bearing in mind,
hold on, because I saw one picture, and it was first, second, third podium. The third position was celebrating, and the first position lady was crying that, like, she didn't, like, she was like, say, and I mean, carry face, but this person they celebrate. So the person that they be kids, so she was lost that thought they celebrate. So she thought the third was the one that won.
Now they
the whole
finally
thing.
last
So
time.
it's based on content. It's based on what you feel is your own priority.
Right.
I feel that football has gotten so difficult that any little trophy, bro, you have to hug it.
That is it. That
Any
is
little
it.
trophy, you have to hug it.
That is the meat.
You don't get Henri, you don't get the Lima then.
It's
Now
hard.
Martinelli, they use the win community.
It's hard, though.
If I know Organ, wait, I want Org. Now you I want Org.
No. See, you are right, sir.
you're an Arsenal
You're
fan,
right,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and Arsenal fans, I think I'm trying to figure out if these United fans are the most
Careful, oh.
are the most divisional fan base for Arsenal fans.
Words wisely.
But I think Arsenal fans would just slightly pip it. Just pip it a little bit more, right? But obviously, he said, look, it's not a big trophy, but it's something we wanted. Nobody called us and said, Man City didn't feel like it's a ticket, right? Do you agree with that? He said, look, it's a trophy. It might not be the biggest thing, but we want it.
I'm an Arsenal fan, and
Be honest.
to be very honest, I don't see it as a trophy. Personally, I don't. Because and it boils down to what Emeka says. It's not an official trophy. It should be a trophy. You play to win it, and we beat Man City, and Man City didn't play those games like they wanted not to lose. They wanted to lose it. They wanted to win it because they may not see it as a big trophy, but they want to win. So when you win those things, I mean, as a manager, you can take pride in them, but as a fan, I want the more major trophies. I want the
So trophy
not
trophy.
the trophy that you play one game to win.
Oh, tournament one.
You want a trophy that you play the series of games. There's a lot more pride in it, to be honest.
Yeah. I want to touch base. Shola, I mean, do you have any take on that?
Shola just wants to win a trophy.
Any trophy we do.
At the end of the
Organized,
day,
friendly, sharp.
even Arteta understands the weight of the different trophies. He knows Community Shield is not the Premier League title. He knows it's not the Champions League title. He knows it's not the FA Cup title, even though he's won the FA Cup title with Arsenal. But it's not nothing either. So it's a balance of both sides. Yes, do the Arsenal fans want more? They do, and they feel they should, in this moment, be getting more. I'm sure the manager also really wants to get more. But that's not to discredit what he's actually won also. Minor titles, yes, but they still have them.
They still have them, yeah. Let's talk about Chelsea, gentlemen.
Please, I came here with an agenda.
No, hold on. We'll come back to Arsenal in just a bit. I want to go about Chelsea because I see it's almost like a title disclaimer. Every time you speak about Chelsea and you say, oh, you're winning the games. You're there.
Holy Ghost fire. We are not doing
how about you go ahead and finish it out?
We know they fight title.
Just immediately you see Chelsea and say no, we don't want 3 points.
One game at a time. Don't spoil it for us.
But you won't play some matches you won't play.
When you look at the entire league, right? They're playing fundamentally. I mean, they're playing in the Conference League, but fundamentally, they don't have their best players playing there. They didn't even register Cole Palmer to play there, right? So it reminds me of the Conte year where they play one game a week. They have loads of time to train and all that stuff. Are you allowed to remove yourself from a title race? Like, I'm going to start with you, so you're a Chelsea fan in the house, right? Are you allowed to remove yourself from a race when it is clear that you maybe are in the best position to do it? And also, let's not forget, nobody knew Man City will have the season they're having.
Yeah.
Right? So, when Leicester won the league, for example, right, Man City had a fall-off, Liverpool had a fall-off, everybody had a fall-off. And just to say, you know what, we're here, 18 games we're here, 20 games we're here, like, dilly dong, like, we have to go for it.
Yeah, no.
So when do they realize that is probably now,
So the thing I say with Chelsea, we know say if we carry this thing serious, it go serious. But Chelsea, they play like all these village people. They not want to let you know say they build house, they raise fence off. So now you just wake up one day, you just see roof. Say wow. They'll call people say, see, we they open the house. They say, now this kind of mansion they inside, And I think that's what Maresca is doing. And I think we love it because we don't want pressure. Yeah. In this age, you want a young boy when we say go club for London with their Saka and crew. May they come, they say we they do title, they come, they pressure themselves. Then one idiot will come call another one girlfriend, will come make that one lose focus for Man Day. No, I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere because I spent the past week looking at reasons why we say many players fell off, especially historically, and it's the most stupid things. Oh boy, you are in a title race, and one small thing happened. Look at Liverpool. Not even this recent Liverpool. I mean, even with Arteta. There's a reason why some footballers that want to get something in life, they don't want to go to clubs that have jaye like Paris Saint-Germain. They keep themselves quiet and go and win their trophy and come out. Chelsea right now, they are playing fundamentally. They are building well. And you are seeing that they already begin to have the structures in place for even a team B, not just a team A, and even probably a team C with the small boys. They are fielding him small. So I like what is going on there, but we are not title contenders.
Right.
Because now for them, now for us. See, we know they talk.
Are you allowed to do that? Like, are you allowed to remove yourself from a title race?
So you're not. First of all, I can guarantee you that Maresca is not telling the boys we're not in the title race.
Oh, but he's not.
He's not.
But we are telling everybody.
I'm not going to let Chelsea fans get away with this, and I'm not even an Arsenal fan, but they did not let Arsenal get away with it.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal, that first.
He's a new manager.
The first time they challenged, and they said we're arguing, did they bottle it or not? They were a young team,
so they are running from that end of the season.
So they are trying to preemptively run from what Arsenal went through.
Yes,
but you can't.
I will not.
If you are there, you are there. When Leicester were there, they were there.
We are not.
So you're 20 almost 20 games, 21.
No. Leicester was not there. Leicester was not there.
No,
let's not forget when Leicester started. They said they go 4. They go 4.
No, Leicester were allowed to remove themselves.
No, I'm saying no. But when you now go to the point, them two they now wanted to win it. Like we said. So Chelsea got to that point now. You can't be like we're not title contenders because you will still get trolled. When it happens,
if you're not a title
there's no escape. Because again, I remember
it's difficult to lose. We are trying to lose.
I remember clearly that Arsenal.
Lose match. Get out there.
Chelsea, they tried to lose.
I am a title contender. I want to.
I remember clearly that Arsenal that season with Odegaard, Martinelli, Jesus, Saka. When that Saliba got injured, you guys were there.
Yeah.
So you guys cannot say, we're not there.
No,
we're a young team.
See this advice.
Manager.
No matter how young the team is, Chelsea has spent 1.2 billion on that team.
We always spend money.
It's a young team. But you spend 1.2 billion on that team. Your best players are playing one game a week. And you're there now, so nothing like we're not there. We're
coming from injuries.
Can you remove yourself from a situation like that? I mean, you're winning the games, right? And like Ineas, eloquently said, if you don't want to win, you don't want to beat that, lose games so that us that want to
the manager is telling
you are second on the league table, you're in the discussion by default.
Oga no talking like that. Now so they talk for Ikorodu City say they win back to back. What's happen? Not be they almost want to lose Remo. I beg. We are not in any league.
People want to deflect the pressure, and it's a smart idea, honestly. You don't really want that pressure until maybe 3/4 of the league is done.
Are you not better off starting to adapt to the pressure than accepting it in April when you're not ready for it? You haven't built the skin for it. You haven't built the.
For them, the real pressure for them is the internal pressure. Is that they know, like he said, they want to win the league. So they are talking about it internally. See how they celebrated winning the last game.
Yeah.
See the celebration. That's the celebration.
Is that not a sign of cracking?
That's the celebration that knows
what's at stake.
Which is the Premier League title.
The irony in this life, capitalize.
Yes, that's it.
Because
so
next
they don't
year
want the outward pressure, the pressure from the press, the pressure from other clubs. They want the inside pressure.
Yes.
We know this is what we are doing, but let's keep it low key.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Eventually, you catch you.
Your coach.
You are not in the title race. Just lose match.
We are as kimono in the damn thing.
Sorry, guys. So
They can't get me now.
You're coaching Sporting Lagos, right? And the league format, of course, 38 games in the season. You played 20 games and you're in second place, right? And somebody tells you you're in a title race. You know, how do you communicate that to your team? Like, look, we're not there or we're there. Is that? Do you think about that?
Pressure.
I don't know because I've not been in those kind of
Nigerian league. Sorry,
yet,
Nigerian
so
league.
I don't know how I will handle it.
Day 36, you go know if you did title.
Not be like Sha. Anybody.
But Shola, are you ready for that? Are you ready for all that comes
You
with?
don't do.
Facing at 2 points, he said, you are facing more relegates.
I want to ask that. It's a good time to ask, right?
Hold on.
Right. And please remove this one from the show, I mean. They are distracting us.
If you dare.
Sorry, guys. Are you ready for all that comes with, you know, the managing in that terrain, the traveling, all the theatrics that come with, you know, home teams, all the chaos, the organized chaos, if you like. Are you ready for something like that?
Honestly, my answer is we'll find out. That's the same thing I actually
In the
tell
deflect
myself.
pressure too. Like
I
my
will
coach.
find out.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But when you're in those situations, it's tough to be that same guy that you think you are going to be. So honestly, I can't say how I'm going to respond until those things happen.
Do you have an idea of, you know, who your players are? Have you in these days? I mean, obviously the announcement was just recently made, but I'm sure you must have, as always with all things, in the background speaking to people. And you know, have you had the time to look at player data? Have you been following the team? How much do you know about what you're walking into?
To be honest, in reality, we've been working for about 3 months now. The announcement was recent, like you said, but we've done most of the recruitment because the club unfortunately relegated last season. We lost most of our best players to other Premier League teams. A few of them got opportunities abroad to go and play outside as well. So it was basically us trying to rebuild the whole squad. So yeah, we know the players because we brought most of them in. We are trying to build them into a cohesive unit, basically.
That's amazing stuff. Is that better for you as a manager to coming into a club that is maybe not at its strongest points? You know, we speak about Ruben Amorim, and he mentioned that it's perfect for me to come in at this time because I could, you know, flex my muscle. Like, is that? Do you feel that way?
Yes and no. It's one of those paradoxes in football. I think certain managers, Chelsea, for example, I think they're benefiting a lot from what Pochettino did last season.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was clear they were going to have a good season this year, even with Pochettino.
Why do you think so?
Because the reason they struggled, for me, was predictable. I actually did predict it on another podcast that I was on. At the start of last season, I said they were going to struggle in the first half of the season. I said they were going to be a lot better in the second half of the season. And I said they were also going to be quite good this year. So it's every time you break a team, you sell a lot of players, you sign a lot of new players, you basically break the team. The team needs time to form. All the teams that have been in those situations where they've had to buy a lot of new players, almost all of them in 6-7 months, they've sacked the manager. The next manager comes in, does well. I've started to see that it's not the new manager per se, it's just time. So it was clear for me they were going to do well this season because somebody has laid good foundation with the group. So it's, you want to inherit good teams or you want to inherit the makings of a good team. That works for you. I think Pep had that at Barcelona. Makings, he still had to make brave decisions to let some really good, influential older players go, like Ronaldinho. He wanted Eto'o off, Zambrotta, and he wanted those kind of guys off the team. But he had the makings of what would become a good team. He had Messi, already one of the best young talents in the world. He had Xavi, he had Iniesta, he had guys like Busquets coming through from the academy, he had Puyol, he had Valdez, and then you can build on that. So it's both. You want to inherit the makings of a good team or an actual good team. He also had something similar at Man City and Bayern Munich. Mourinho had something similar at Inter Milan. He inherited the makings of a good team. So you want to do that, but at the same time, the idea of building something almost completely in your own image is also fascinating for almost any manager to say, okay, can I create this from scratch, or at least almost scratch, and build it exactly the way I want it? So it's both sides of the coin, I think.
It's brilliant.
I want to ask some question. As you talk, I think again. You know, or for them, when they start, they play this kind of exciting ball with Sporting. I go and I give me a couple of times. It was really cool. For you, with your players out and the new ones, when we say they bring in, which line you want to? You want mold them in your image? I mean, now your first major coaching gig be this. Are you going to Nagelsmann the thing? Or are you going to just try and build up from where the boys leave off last season?
So like I said, it's easy to say one thing. We probably would do something else. For now, there's not much pressure. Everybody is calm and collected. And
still kumbaya.
It's still kumbaya for now. So we are trying to build a team that is exciting to watch. We're trying to build a team that can score goals, a team that can also really, really defend quite well. We're able to do that with the academy to some extent last season. We went to Sweden, we played about 7 games, and we conceded in just 1 game. We had 6 clean sheets, and we conceded only the semi-final by the only other Nigerian team that we played in the tournament. So we want a defensively solid team, because I think if you can do that, you can build some level of consistency. But we want to be effective at the same time. The club's ambition is to play in the Premier League. The club's ambition is actually to compete at the highest levels of African football.
I see one of the highlights. Now they use long ball where these days, at least the one when go to Sweden. Are you guys going to be doing that, or short passes?
We'll do based on the players that we have.
Right.
He's keeping it close.
I think Emeka would be very interested in your work. Emeka is very tactically inclined. And I think Emeka is the best person to ask. Because look, when I met Shola, we spoke, I don't know if you remember this conversation, but we spoke about football for maybe about 2 hours, and it was just a really engaging conversation. And I'm talking maybe 6 years ago, right? And I've always just thought that we needed people like that in the game. So it's very fascinating for me to obviously on the sidelines to watch him follow through with those ambitions, right?
Amazing.
I'm just going to ask you this. Look, speak about the top of African football. You talk about, the Mosimanes and co. Do you genuinely think, because I don't know if you played the game, right?
Just
at a street level.
John.
Do you think there's a place for managers in Africa that didn't play, at the top,
at the highest level? I think it's possible, and we are starting to have some of them. Rolani is arguably top 3 coaches on the continent now.
Is that with that now, right?
Yes, he's at Wydad. He's struggling a bit, cultural differences and whatnot, but he didn't play to the highest level. Michael Lookman was his assistant at Sundowns, and he also worked with Egypt a few years back. Nice. And he's also making some waves. So there is starting to become a generation of young African coaches who are towing the line of Mourinho's and the Nagelsmans, who haven't exactly played the game at the highest levels, but that are trying to do some really interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff, right? Yeah. So
Rolani is one that comes to mind. And every time you listen to him speak, you can see a guy who clearly knows the game, and he's going to even get better, because I think he was assistant to Mosimane as well.
Yeah.
You know, he was assistant to Mosimane, and you know, I see him talk the game, and which is one thing that frustrates me about, you know, coaching in Nigeria, because I watch our teams, and I watched him the other day, and it was an absolute eyesore. You know, it was an absolute eyesore. You know, because when you look at the players, and except you didn't grow up in Nigeria, the average footballer in Nigeria is really talented. You know, because you talked about learning football from the street. You know, we all played football from the street. There are certain things you learn from the streets that structure cannot teach you. You know, there are certain abilities, things you can do on the pitch. And that thing is in us. But every time you watch a Nigerian team, it does look like they just cannot play. And it has nothing to do with ability. It has something to do with coaching. You know,
do you agree with that?
We had this guy.
Partially.
Yeah, we had what's his name? We had this guy on our pod some weeks ago.
Forgot his name. Yeah,
you know, it's Amorim. And the guy
Did you say Amorim?
The guy grew up in a British society. You know, played for some clubs, had a chance to play for Sunshine Stars.
Is it Dakpo?
Yeah, Dakpo. Yeah, Dakpo CEO. And Dakpo said, you could see. He said, I was nowhere near their talent level.
Yeah.
I was nowhere near. He said, you could see they had the ability. But what I had over them was coaching. I understood the game better than they did. But they had the talent more than I did. Which is when you watch MPFL players, you can see clearly that these players are lacking in coaching. You know, they don't understand game management. You know, I'm seeing players shooting from 60 yards. Like, how can a player?
We say maybe they tried it. They tried it.
Not score before. You know, like you see a player, and I'm not joking. You know, because someone would say you are making fun. No, I'm not making fun. You see a player. You know, you hold the ball, you give the ball to a centre half, the centre back gets his head up and launches the ball forward. There's clearly no plan. There's clearly no, like, we don't have a plan. Just get the ball upfield and let's see what we can do.
Right.
And that's a systematic
that was then, not now.
It's getting better.
If I can maybe chime in, I think coaching is overrated. And I say that as a coach. And I mean that to say, I don't think the bigger issue in Nigerian football is the coaching. And that's not me saying there's no issue in coaching. It's me trying to... It's like what we were saying about Manchester United. They've had really good coaches. They haven't exactly flourished. So something is probably wrong in the environment in itself, rather than the coaches or the players in themselves.
7 cards.
So I think that's more the situation with Nigerian football as well. It's more a problem of the entire ecosystem rather than just the individuals in the ecosystem.
Just a shout out to our babes, because our women teams, we've been having correct guys or babes rather that have played, that have become coaches. And I like say for men now, you don't need to do blow for your career for football to take become coach. Because before now, you get to do blow like the Desiree or the Mark Baby, they don't blow. So I'm hoping that the average girl, average babe can step up and do that thing now when they rely on you, they do. You may not blow. Go and coach, because we need more of that pathways.
I agree with that. I think we've had a very good conversation. I thought, of course, we're wrapping up in the next couple of minutes. But I wanted to ask, given that it's the last episode of the year, what football news and story, made, like what headline, did it for you this year? And I've seen some really good headlines this year. I get the sense that for lots of United fans, it must have been, the club statement.
that can always bust my head.
I'm saying, I don't know. I think Chelsea started that thing, and since then, but
Comunicado
I think they started it. Which has been yours? I'm gonna go through everybody.
It's a tough one. I'm thinking about it. I guess obviously as a United fan, how it happened for me with Ten Hag. I was in the US. So I woke up, because everybody knows how much I defended Ten Hag.
Yeah.
So I woke up to I don't say 100, like 50, 60 missed calls. My WhatsApp was just blowing up because he had gone. So maybe I'll have to think more about it actually for my own headline of the year. But Ten Hag is the one that really stands out at the moment.
Yeah.
But the FA Cup final was my biggest moment.
Favorite moment is that for you?
Favorite moment. I have to think. Honestly, for me, nothing topped watching the Eagles at the AFCON. Nothing topped seeing people scream Osimhen's name. I cried. That day I did drink champagne for stadium. Now the first time I drink champagne, chop chocolate. So Ivory Coast people, God go bless you now. I see guy kissy babe, and you know fear when camera come near him. And he said, "Nairi babe." That was the best moment for me because I've always looked at sports as separated when I go to stadiums. I didn't know that you could have a full life inside the sporting space. So that's my highlight from January. Yeah.
Shola, I mean, you're not here as a coach, but of course, you can't separate you from the coaching part. Like, say a story that really made the year when you saw it.
Honestly, I have the same feeling. For me, the biggest thing this year for me as a football fan was Nigeria's performance at the AFCON. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but honestly, I don't think most Nigerians expected us to go that far.
It was dope.
So it was really, really good seeing that actually we enjoyed watching them. They didn't just win, but we actually enjoyed watching them. That was a really top moment for me.
That was special. Remember, that month was very intense for us here. We were filming back to back and everything like that, morning shoots.
Well done, guys. Well done.
And we're
Well
just
done.
really excited to see the team play. I mean, you guys, what made it for you?
Yeah, as an Arsenal fan, I thought that the title
Signing
race,
Raheem Sterling was a good signing.
the title race, I thought it was really exciting. You know, it was really exciting. The fact that we're winning, City, we're winning, and we got to the final day. Like, it was that moment that Son Heung-min was through on goal. I was with my baby. I kid you not. I was with my baby. I was trying to put her to sleep, so I'm
rocking her
on the
damn
back,
thing.
on the back. And then Son goes through on goal. Bro, the way I shouted, my baby didn't sleep for 3 hours. The way I screamed there when he missed that chance, you know, it could have been a special moment, but the idiot chose to eat. If he was Arsenal now, he would chip the goalkeeper, you know. But it was the title race for me. I thought it was really exciting. You know, it was something where you always want a league to be that competitive. You know, that close. You know, final moments. It was really, really special. But the news for me was when Osimhen signed for Galatasaray. You know, when I saw that headline, like, what happened? Like, I had to check that it wasn't April 1st. Like, Osimhen, Galatasaray, like, it was absolutely stunning.
Who did this?
Like, what kind of story is this? It was really surprising.
Yeah. I think mine would be Lookman's hat-trick against Liverpool. I think as a Nigerian, I
don't like, because I ask you the same question. Now this I don't like. That what?
But Liverpool is stupid. Both teams to score. You know if he score for final.
You got no put money for the game.
The goals were banger. Like, no be tapping or anything.
You watch your light.
This one was a tapping shot.
Mad ass goal. So I think as a Nigerian, then I was really, really happy that you know you have a Nigerian pushing the brand out. Don't forget, see, as country had reach, they find something that go make us happy. So I think thank God for sport, thank God for football. If not, some of us, now only God knows where we go.
Talking about God and football, I think on the Nigerian final, like Halle, I know we're Nigerians, but
I think we'll agree.
From cancer,
Guess what?
That's a big one.
You know, we're recording, and I had a bit of a moment. You know, I predicted the Nigeria South Africa game, in the semi-final. You know, and he was nice. And the final, I was sat where Suo is sitting, and you know, they were pushing me for a prediction. Believe me, I was scared to say what I actually thought. I was scared to say, because I kept hearing a story of grace. That's what I heard. I heard it clearly.
Hallelujah.
I'm not kidding. I heard a story of grace. That's what I heard.
No, that period was special for that guy.
I just heard a story of grace. And I just didn't have the nerves to say that Cote d'Ivoire will beat Nigeria.
Yeah. Because it was impossible.
There's certain things that just happened. Providence just wanted that guy, because the story was just unbelievable. From a position of his health being in tatters to getting into a final, scoring those are things that you don't write.
So Ini again, as you talk, I'm no vex. As you talk, I'm the time me back again to Lookman. Lookman, the unknown. Lookman, the true Bontriwe for football.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Nain start this year with grace like Ali.
Yeah.
In the end this year with bigger grace. I mean, this year sports don't feed us. So
Yeah.
everybody went
That
on to
was
say
us.
God day.
And he was our best player at AFCON.
Oh my Lord.
He has been our best player for at least.
I think he's our best player at the moment. Yeah,
You know,
I think he's our best player at the moment. Yeah.
I was in tears. You know, I had goosebumps when he stood up to go and get that award. Like he was so. You know, I hear that if you want something, dress for it. He was.
My brother, God bless you. That's how to dress for an award. Don't dress like a riffraff to an award.
He dressed for the occasion. Like he stood up and he could see royalty.
Yes,
you know, when he
make your parents proud.
You know, he stood up and went to that stage. Because I still remember Lookman at Charlton.
Bro.
You know, I still remember that kid. You know, he came to Everton 4 minutes into his debut, scored the goal against City, and his career just went from there down. You know, he was going here, and you know, going back to what Emeka said about changing coaches. You know what stability can do for a player. All of a sudden, he's playing for a coach who has been there for a very long time, and he's going nowhere. Like for Atalanta, they know they say, he's going anywhere. He's going nowhere. Like there's stability.
But don't forget his family. Don't forget his family.
So the guy walks into a club and has that kind of manager. So it was just a very good relationship.
Yeah. Favorite moments, yeah. And look, this is a very nice moment, and I'm happy. I really like the win over South Africa. I mean, they're not our mates per se.
That one,
you know, but you know, look.
South Africa beaten us.
Oh my God!
Oh God!
We were South Africa beaten. They didn't beat us.
My God!
We went on our TikTok.
My God!
UB went and looked for trouble.
It is still till this day the biggest. Like I'm sure we had maybe 5,000 comments thereabouts, right? And you need to see the amount of. Obviously, you could call it vitriol, but I like to see it as just for that moment. I want to see it as just competitiveness. You know, competitive. It was just intense. The relief when we scored that penalty, last penalty.
Are they Faja where Igbo men they gather, they chop fish? Their children they play, they swim. All of us gather, they wash mash. Who they play small slots, they leave them. Baba, when that penalty.
That was incredible.
I get that feeling. Go bless.
That was incredible.
Go bless Nigeria for this one.
That was incredible.
They give us vibes this year.
That was really special.
They broke up my childhood.
Yeah, but I also wanted to ask the guys, and we have an expanded cast today, so we can't quite do it as much as. But I wanted to ask the guys, you know, which has been your favorite comments this year on the podcast, and we've had. I watched the YouTube clips. I watched the comment section. I read the comments, and sometimes I'm just really moved by all the comments that we have on there, and I'm sure Wally's going to put up some of our favorite comments we found this year. And thanks for sending those comments in, because they're absolutely amazing. Like I can't even tell you how much they mean to us, especially on days we maybe can't record, or we've missed an episode or thereabout. Somebody texts us, and we have a bunch of DMs saying, look, you guys need to go on the pod and make a recording. So that's really special, and we want to thank you very much for that, being it's our last episode of the year. Right then, let's go into the predictions and call it a day for 2024. Before we leave it, I wanted to ask about the signing of this year, because a couple of signings this year have been really important. I was just thinking, I'm going to start with IBK, because you guys had Daniel Olmo. I think it's been a really good signing, but ultimately it's come to an end. I hope. Hopefully it's come to an
money
end.
Don't finish.
But yeah, what have you made of the best signing of the year, this across all leagues anyway?
Signing of the year,
or the signing that's made the most impact? Yes.
And I have to think about it, man.
Right. So go to Ini. Why you think about it?
Yeah. For me, signing of the year. I didn't see this coming, but Cole Palmer wasn't signed this year, so
it wasn't.
It can't fall in a signing of the year.
I mean, so let's walk through the clubs. Liverpool didn't sign anybody in the summer, so they're certainly not there. Real Madrid just signed Mbappe. I think we can all agree it's not been, Kylian.
In some ways, it's
Barcelona
probably the signing of the year. I think it's been 3 years in the making, and very expensive deal, something everybody was looking forward to, and then the whole drama of him announcing he was leaving PSG before the club failed, and there's still a legal case still ongoing.
Pay my money.
And then maybe the start in Real Madrid hasn't been smooth sailing as people probably have expected. So in a way, it's probably the most dramatic signing with all the news around it, basically.
Yeah. So, Mbappe for you, that would be the signing.
So, somebody just got in my head now, but the problem is that the team, they suffer. But they do well. The team, they suffer, but Nusra Mazraoui has been a brilliant signing. Mazraoui, I think he's, he's...
At that price as well.
Eh?
At that price.
At that price, it's been an absolutely terrific signing. It's like when I watch him play, and at Bayern, and I don't know why I didn't see that much of him, but I think that every time I see him play, because what you want to see from a footballer is being responsible on the pitch, and every time I see him, he's the whole inside. He takes care of his game very well, and that for me, for that price, absolute bargain. I think it's been a brilliant signing.
Yeah. Abike, you have an idea now? I'm just good, Daniel Mo.
No.
I just said Daniel Mo.
Was this guy bought this year, McAllister?
No, that was last year. Liverpool didn't make any signing this summer.
For Liverpool. Yeah, Chiesa.
Certainly not.
It doesn't count. Free signing, you not pay any money.
Anyway,
I think for me,
10 million.
a few standards. So I was going to say,
30.
I was going to say Mazraoui as one of mine. So I think for 13 million, he has the defensive ability of a Wan-Bissaka, but he's technically proficient, good passer, tenacious, and he's actually stayed fit. I hope I don't jinx that, but I think him at 13 million, Man United don't sign many bargains, and that's one.
Yeah.
Another one that stands out for me is Julian Alvarez, Atletico Madrid. He's gone in. He had a slightly slow start, but now he's been scoring a lot. Scored 12 goals this season. Yeah. And he's
how did Pep let that guy go?
Because Pep has got to that point where now, like, they're that good that if you don't want to play, if you want to, that you can go. But yeah, he's got
Thierry Henry was calling him out.
Atletico Madrid can, like, if they win their game in hand, they go top of the league. So that's And
then
last one is Michael Olise for Bayern. Yeah. I think he's another underrated gem. Like, in Premier League, I don't know how he wasn't snapped up earlier. Like, he went to Bayern for 60 million. That's now in today's market, that's nothing. And he's gone there already. Is a bona fide starter, scoring in the Champions League for them, and one of their best players already, going from Crystal Palace. So I think
it's probably better for him he went there.
Yeah. But if he came to a club now, we say, it wasn't world class, but you go to a better situation and you excel.
It just allows you is a nice climate. It's steady.
United would have finished him.
Of course.
Finished him.
Easy. So signing of the season for you?
Baba, they think man, no lie.
But that means they haven't been.
No.
Yeah.
For you guys, Casedo was a good.
Casedo was last year.
Was last year. The players won't get for Chelsea.
115 million.
I don't know. Not really signed this year.
Let's not do that. He has dignified
the signings this year. I think people were afraid of FFP. I think clubs have been a bit wary of, overstepping.
Was Reinders signed this year?
Reinders. No, signed last year.
No, last year.
Like a lot of the major signings last year.
That was last season.
That's how I started at Wolves too. So I'm not too excited.
That was last season.
Small time now.
Brilliant signing.
Small time now. You falter. Anyway, so I think
get me that Tiani Reinders in my midfield.
Get to everybody. We've got to hear everybody.
By the way,
I hear parties.
His dad really loved Tijani Babangida. That's why he named it Tijani.
Right. So
that's why he said Tijani. I said that Tijani.
Like, bro, which one with Tijani?
They look at it. I don't to say that something.
That's what commentators call him. I don't know.
Because now they call Jordan Ibe.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So
I think he has a Asian root.
So Arsenal, upon all your Calafiori, your Merino that you guys were shouting about.
Merino has been an absolute embarrassment.
Merino on the hill since.
It's been an absolute embarrassment.
Okay, what about Calafiori?
But I'm speaking.
Why did your gaffer sign so many positions that you guys don't need for?
Why this is why I came here
Squad
with
depth.
one
agenda. Okay, don't let me put it around this one now.
Because I feel like Arteta is getting very close to being called a fraud. Very close. I'm serious, because I think he's a bright young manager. I dare say one of the brightest around in the game. Because you see him, you see what he wants to do. And I've come to a conclusion. Arteta knows what he wants to do. He has an idea how to win, but he doesn't know how to win. You know, and I say that because when the manager came, and by the way, today is 19th. Today was 5 years ago. Arteta was appointed as number. I know where I was. I was emceeing a wedding in Port Harcourt. So I was checking my phone, you know, and I saw the news that it's been signed. And credit to him, he's taken the club from here to here. He's done, you know, in terms of, you know, ripping up the structures of the club and building a new mentality at the club. He's done that. And I would be an absolute bastard to sit here and not give him that credit because
strong
he's done
words,
that.
my man. Strong words.
But the truth of the matter is that there has to be a point in a manager's life where you start realizing that decisions will make or mar your season. Arsenal were having a brilliant run last season, and Arteta cost us a title. Arsenal have a brilliant run last season. You know, Arteta, Kai Havertz, how is our centre forward? I'll never know. Kai Havertz was up front, doing well. We played a key game against Aston Villa. Yeah. Arteta removed Havertz from an attacking position, played him in midfield, and played Jesus up front, and we lost that game. Yeah. We lost the structure in our midfield, and Aston Villa beat us. One decision, and we lost the title. Because the way we're playing, we're literally unstoppable. We could beat anybody. This season, I see Arteta sacrificing the fluidity in our team. And I say that with Thomas Partey. In the first phase, I would like to see anybody who's better than Thomas Partey receiving the ball back to goal in the first phase.
That's true.
I'd like to see anybody in world football.
They cook and bros. They cook and
or anybody. Thomas Partey in that first phase with his back to goal is as fluid as anyone. How do you sacrifice that? Because you're trying to make whatever is in his head. Plays Thomas Partey at right back. Takes Timber to left back. Timber can play right back very well. You have Tierney on the bench who's a left back. And I'm thinking if Pep Guardiola had issues in midfield or had injury issues, will he take Rodri to play right back? Pep will stick a 16-year-old at right back and play Rodri because he wants to control the game. And Partey is one of the key components of our team. Every time I see him play Partey at right back, I'm like, what is he smoking? Right. So I feel like he wants to win. He's desperate to win, but he just doesn't know how to win because he's making decisions. So the final straw was last night. Arsenal haven't won a trophy in 4 years. You get a chance against Crystal Palace, and he puts out that lineup. And I'm looking at the lineup, I'm thinking, what is he thinking? Who is he resting these players for? We play Crystal Palace over the weekend in the league.
Again, yeah.
You are resting players for a league that you are not sure you will win. In a game where you, just like Tottenham firing Mourinho 5 days to a cup final. Like, you know that this club, they don't put fire for the club. It costs
an organization.
Like you are playing Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace have been on a very good run of form. In the last 1 month, Crystal Palace have beaten Man City, beaten Tottenham, beaten Brighton. Yeah. That's a team on the up.
On the rise.
And they put out a strong side because the manager clearly wants to have a run at the cup. And you go and put out Kivio and Timber and just mess with your lineup.
But Timber cooked Manchester United.
They got away with it because Odegaard came on in the second half and turned on the style. But my point is, for a manager who hasn't won a trophy, there's a perceived sense of arrogance because that lineup was arrogant. That lineup was a clear disrespect of the opponent. Like you were trying to show that, don't worry, I can beat this Crystal Palace with the second string side. And Arteta has got to realize that if he doesn't win a trophy this season, the jury will be out on him. The pressure will mount on him. And I've seen bright young managers come and go. I've seen Brendan Rodgers, brilliant manager. Where did he end up? You know, I've seen Andres Villas-Boas, brilliant young managers. Roberto De Zerbi, they just come. But you realize that the difference between winning and losing is very tiny.
Yeah,
you know,
one
tiny. Decision. Yeah. So I'm not calling him a fraud yet, but
you're
he's this close. I'm putting him on fraud watch.
He's on fraud watch. Right.
He's
Is there any player? I put a couple of players on fraud watches here, right? And what I do is I put them on fraud watch, for a while. I observe them and I take them off. He did deserve to, right? Recently, top of the list, Garnacho. He's on fraud.
Garnacho not my guy.
Garnacho's on fraud watch now, and he'll be there for at least maybe mid 2025.
He's my baby. Leave my guy.
Review his position. And funny thing, I haven't done it because Amorim put him on the team. I put it maybe a month ago. And it's interesting because I actually made a tweet that Garnacho and Rashford will be the biggest casualties of the Amorim era, and this is maybe a month ago, and it's proven to be so. Is there any player across the world you think? Another player I put on fraud watch a long time ago is Tchouaméni. I think there's a fraud there, but the France international cops is shielding him, ensuring him. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. So we spoke about Sancho earlier. I would say what he has shown in the last few years, and I'm seeing the kind of renewed hype that they're trying to do. He's happy now.
We saw it last season.
He's happy.
Champions
League. Happy. He scores against Heidenheim in your Conference League. Yeah. So that one, I'm not quite buying it yet.
If easy to him,
he needs to prove to me.
He's a Mecca.
He needs to prove that
he scored against Heidenheim. They called the team. Let me know.
He paid me.
Chelsea, he paid me. He's gonna be doing Nomex against FC Noah.
He not man.
And they'll say he's back. So for someone like Sancho, because I know the talent is there, but for me, he needs to prove it. So for me, I'll put Sancho on fraud watch.
Yeah, any player on fraud watch for you?
No. I know they put anybody for fraud watch, and here's why. Because everybody is a human being, and everybody need their moment.
Right. So fraud,
no fraud. I'm not frauding anybody.
It's a mother, so not for you. Not for you.
I can blame you.
Coach, is that not for you, right? Not for you, right?
I think it's human being where they collect 300. Now human being be that.
What did you do? Nathanos, what did they do?
The human being collecting that kind of money, right? But in the same vein, let's just wrap up with as far as this end of year wrap ups go. A young player that's impressed most this year, without mentioning Yamal, because that's been the key one.
That one has been 17 for more than 2 years.
He's been 17 for at least 16 months. So, which other player has
been? When you say young, so it doesn't have to be like it could be like even like a Konate or something. I think someone like Konate is the early 20s, and for me, he's really stood out because like he's been a massive part of this Liverpool title challenge. And I know we've had maybe we can do this another time, the whole Konate and Saliba debate. But like as a young defender, pure defender, he's probably the best young defender in the world, in my opinion. Centre back, as a centre back, I think he's elite. He's strong, he's fast. He's not amazing on the ball. He's decent enough on the ball. And as a defender, how he reads the game, how he bodies off attackers. I think for me, when you look at the fact that this Liverpool team that wasn't meant to challenge, the fact that they're where they are, their defensive record, and it's not just a Van Dijk thing.
And we have struggled since he got into
the evidence. The scored 3 against, considered 3 against Newcastle, 2 against Fulham. So I think Konate. But if you want to go like, let's say you're looking at a teenager and someone that is up and coming, I'm sure there are a few who would think of up and coming. No.
I think Meno has been really good this year. Coach, anybody you think has been really good this year?
I've loved Kubasi a lot.
Kubasi.
I think he's broken into the scene. He's done amazing things.
What about Paul Victor?
I don't think anybody expected him to be this good this early and to command a starting for center. It's easier to see a 17-year-old break out as a midfielder or as an attacking player than to see a 17-year-old break out as a center
as a defender.
Back. Exactly, and he's done that, and he's done it with good aplomb.
Why is that difficult? Because I personally think the number 6, midfield. That's why I didn't ask you. Right. I think the midfield players are the ones that's the most difficult place to play in the team, especially central midfield, because you have bodies around you, people flying around you, and things like
midfield is also quite difficult. I think so if you have a young winger, for example, his mistakes are going to be further up the pitch. If you have an attacking midfielder, to some extent, it's going to be similar. His mistakes are going to be further up the pitch. If you have a very young centre-back, his mistakes are right in front of your goalkeeper. So any mistake there, it's going to be really big. So a lot of guys see that, and coaches are naturally scared to put rookie centre-backs and rookie goalkeepers because every mistake is going to be immensely costly.
Directly costly.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. See, that's why I didn't ask you.
Duran is young as well. He just turned 21.
Who, John Duran?
So I think that's another
Funnily, I
breakout
saw
star.
Duran. You know, the time ESPN used to show the MLS, and I used to watch the MLS a lot. I saw Duran playing for, was it Columbus Crew or one of these clubs in the US, and he was really young and raw. And every time I saw him, in my head, like, this boy knows how to play ball.
That's what I thought too, honestly.
This boy knows how to play ball. He just wants you to give him the ball
and charge
in and around the box. You know, we've had an episode where we talked about ball striking.
Yeah.
There are very few people who can strike the ball better than that boy. If he catches it, good night. He's a goal.
Yeah.
I saw him. I'm like, this boy he's raw. You know, he runs, he shoots. And then Aston Villa signed him. I'm like, can he cope with the Premier League? And the boy has he coped really well.
See what he do for Nottingham now.
Anyway.
Wait. You didn't call someone from your club. Harvey Elliott. That guy. Who is the Liverpool man?
Have you lost? For what?
He hasn't played this year now.
He's 21. So he's an old young player.
He hasn't even played this year now. He's been like injured the whole time.
Are we going to
Let's not do that with Javier Elliott, please.
Let's not
Let's not do that.
I
Right.
think
I have
brilliant
to.
lad. The brilliant.
Mark Casado and Femi Lopez.
No, stop, Pam.
It's
They worry
great.
you.
Femi Lopez.
They talk.
Fantastic, right?
They do that
Let's do
one.
the predictions. This prediction segment is brought to you by GigaWin, who are, crypto gaming platform in Africa, and we're closing out the year with GigaWin here on the podcast. We had a great event sponsored by GigaWin, and we're totally delighted about all the good things that we are working towards in the background for 2025, and that makes me really have butterflies in my tummy. Right. Let's start off with this prediction segment. I'm going to start off with you, Emeka. Okay. And I'm sure you've seen the impressive predictions that Ini and Rufai have actually had. I think Wale will put up the leaderboard for the end of the year, right? I think Rufai is leading that department.
IBK and Rufai actually.
IBK and Rufai, right? Ini has fallen off a little bit, right? Let's start with Saturday, right? Saturday.
Prediction goes 0.
Aston Villa, Man City.
First this new man.
Draw. So you guys do like both teams to score? Draw?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think it'd be a draw.
Yeah. Draw. Both teams to score now?
Both 1-1 draw. Both teams to score.
Yeah. Both teams to score a 1-1 draw. Brentford, Forest.
Brentford win. Brentford at home. Brentford 2-0.
Brentford 2-0.
Yes. So
right.
Brentford they score. They have the best home record in the league. They score a lot of goals at home. So
they have the best home record in the league. Right. Brilliant.
At least top 2. Yeah.
Top 2. Yeah. Ipswich, Newcastle.
Away win. Both teams to score.
Away win. Both teams to score. I think Kieran McKenna is one of the brightest young coaches around. Actually.
For sure. 100%.
West Ham, Brighton.
I think Brighton being found out a bit. I would say a narrow West Ham win at home. So maybe like a 1-0 West Ham.
1-0 West Ham. Palace, Arsenal.
Arsenal to bully all these London clubs. So
yeah.
Arsenal 2-1.
Arsenal to win 2-1. Everton, Chelsea.
Harambo Dash. Chelsea 2-1.
What did he call it?
Harambo. Chelsea 2-1.
Yeah, actually, let me update. I'll do Chelsea 2-0.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will win with clean sheet. Yeah,
Chelsea
I think Chelsea will win with clean sheet.
Winners Chapel.
Yeah.
Although Sanchez and Cole can
decide to give away. Fulham, Southampton.
Fulham at home, obviously. Yeah. Fulham multiple. Fulham. Probably both teams to score, but Fulham big. Let's say 3-1.
I'll make a big call. I think that Marco Silva could be, if Arteta goes this season, I think Marco Silva could be.
If he goes, he's going. Now you get the club.
I think he could be one of the guys to take a step up to big club, Marco Silva. Yeah. Do you like him? He's still a coach? Yeah. Good coach. Yeah. Leicester, Wolves.
That's
they beat Van Nistelrooy last week.
Midlands Derby. Midlands Derby. I'll say both teams to score a draw. So maybe a 2-2.
Right. To 2-2 there. United, Bournemouth.
Definitely both teams to score. United always find a way to concede, even at home. United probably edge it, but it won't be as comfortable as you would want it to be. So United, both teams to score 2-1.
Both teams to score 2-1. I agree with that as well. Spurs, Liverpool.
Liverpool 2-1.
2-1, right. Yeah.
Spurs
I think if Spurs win United, they don't win this one. If they lose that one, they win this one.
They play at the back. They're playing like Ben Davies or like Archie Gray. They don't have any centre backs available. So I think Liverpool captain Salah FPL as well.
Yeah. Anyway, let's look. So I think we'll leave coach out of the predictions. We'll just give him that. So let's go. Aston Villa, Man City.
Aston Villa, Man City. Now, wow. I go say then go draw, Sha.
Yeah.
Go draw.
Draw. Brentford, Forest.
Brentford, Forest. Still voting to score, but I think Forest can clear Brentford, especially since they play for house.
Yeah.
City ground is tough.
So it's Brentford, no?
Brentford home, yeah.
Brentford home. Hey, problem. But their traveling results only get much better. So yeah. A draw, a win for the way.
A draw for win or draw. Right. I'm going to ask you the next the big game of the weekend. Tottenham Liverpool. Yeah.
First of all, over 2.5.
Over 2.5
Yes.
for Spurs Liverpool. Yeah. For sure.
Second of all, na GG.
Great stuff.
Liverpool
Right.
go win, Sha.
Liverpool to win.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm going to come to both of you. Aston Villa, Man City, starting with IBK.
I mean, they lead for the double.
Let them know, Joe. I
Aston
can't
Villa,
look there,
Man City.
they talk.
Aston Villa to win or draw.
Aston Villa to win or draw. Ini, you're always the odds watcher, so let us know what the odds are on Giga win there.
1.75.
Aston Villa to win.
Yeah.
Against Man City.
Win or draw.
Win or draw.
Win or draw.
What do you think really happens in that game? Like, Aston Villa are really going to beat Man City?
I think Aston Villa too, they're a bit up and down because of the Champions League schedule. But although they both had a full week to rest.
Yeah.
I think Man City, after the disappointment of last week against United, I just can't. Can they lose again?
Yes. Yes. From what
What
see,
if they
yes.
are going down? They will soon discover us.
No. Man City currently is in a very serious conundrum. Nobody really knows what the problem is.
7 cards.
Many theories, so you don't even know what to expect.
I heard it took
from them.
115 seconds between
football.
Jesus Christ.
Football.
And the Premier League had a chance there, but they missed it.
to
say that
115 seconds.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
It's difficult. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what Man City is going to turn up. It's not like they are playing badly, but they crack at some point in games and then they just concede, bang, bang. They might play very well for 60, 70 minutes, but they have almost every game one 20 minutes, 25 minutes spell where they are not so good and then they struggle in those situations.
Yeah. You think it's Pep's the end of the reign? You think that's it?
No. I thought he was going to probably make this his last season in City and then he signed a new contract, so not close to being his end. I don't think he's going to be sacked regardless of what happens this season because he's earned that right, and they'll definitely want to trust him with solving the problems, and obviously they have money to spend, so I'm sure this January I wouldn't be surprised if 2 or 3 big signings come in.
Yeah. Is it a rebuild, just before we get into the predictions again, is it a rebuild or a quick fix, something we just need to tweak there, or a
quick
rebuild?
fix? Like I said, it's not like they are playing badly totally, and it's not like they suddenly have bad players across the pitch. It's more, I think they're a bit light, and maybe where they need help from the bench, they don't exactly have big weights on the bench per se. So I think they will want to do 2 or 3 new guys, just come in, just quality players around that can contribute stuff.
So it's also a rebuild. When you look at the age of their squad, they have a very old squad. Kyle Walker, KDB, even Bernardo is 30, Stones is 30, Ederson is 30. Even their squad in the old Manchester Derby was one of the oldest squads in the Premier League, was about average over like 29. So and you look at the replacements they got for the quality players they've let go, like Alvarez, they're bringing in Savinho. There's Grealish is also 30. Grealish can't even move anymore. There's Gundogan is 34. So there's a lot of work needs to be done. They only have a few players that are in their mid-20s at their peak right now. So they have either those players or players that are not good enough or players that are over the hill. So to get rid of KDB, Walker, all those guys, Gundogan is going to take a lot of work.
Easily 300 million.
It's going to take a lot of
spending.
Did you say easy?
Yeah, easy 300 million to spend.
Small check now for that.
Small check. As we wrap it up today, I wanted to ask you guys. You are a Christmas guy. I don't know if you have the Christmas, nostalgia like I do, but do you watch anything?
Home
Christmas Day?
every year.
Home every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
So like I both 1 and 2.
Both 1 and 2.
So yeah, like I'm a huge Christmas guy. I'm a very big family with guys here. So So yeah, I watch it every year. So I watched it last year. I'm going to watch it again this year.
Yeah. So do also send us your pajamas pictures.
Okay, so I've not done that whole wife and
me and
so
mine.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So maybe next
The wife
year.
will remind you, I'm sure, for sure.
Yeah, no, this year she's too preoccupied because we just had the little one. So,
Yeah.
But maybe next year we'll have our first family portrait.
Okay, sounds good.
Brilliant.
Are you one for the yours and mine and how do they say it?
Yeah, mine and yours.
Mine and yours.
From me and mine.
Yes, let me know. Like my son is
Mine
not
and
even too
yours.
much
Wait for
about
mine. Take
that.
out.
So mine and yours. Yeah. So
everybody
as long
dump
as you
on
have that
social media.
ugly Christmas sweater, and I've been lucky enough to be able to buy the types that he grows into.
Right.
We get to wear that. So he's been carrying the ugly Christmas sweater everywhere.
Yeah.
So we've done the Christmas light. We are doing movies. Home Alone is a classic, among others. So for me, I like Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't go get that humidifier when we say be like fireplace. So I put one for a room, just a move. I put one for parlor. So I carry all my godchildren. In fact, the next few days, never what they do. As I don't go do much, come back. All of us go gather again, continue.
Yeah.
So that's my Christmas vibe. And I'm looking for.
So you're pretty much in the vibe. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Like it. Coach, are you on training? Do you put a Christmas vibe in the training? Is there anything like that? Or you're just like, Ten Hag business.
Under pressure, coach. You want to do Christmas?
We're on a little bit of a short break. We get back after Christmas. For me, just probably an opportunity to visit family, basically.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great stuff. I mean, you're rocking the red, so that's really nice.
Coach, we're under pressure.
I think no guess it's normal.
Coach, we'll be following your work, and I hope that
Where do you play your home games?
Unicon Stadium.
Unicon, yeah.
But they need to
can we get a
boost that
VIP? Can one of us get a
VIP?
ticket?
Don't cast.
Yeah.
Out of my hands.
Yeah, out of your hands, yeah. Right. You answered that very politely. Any movies, anything like that? Do you light up the tree?
Maybe I'll try and watch Baby's Day Out again.
Oh, nice.
Because I love it.
Was that a Christmas movie?
But it can be.
But people they always watch
That's
it.
small children.
It's
awesome.
I guess.
Yeah.
They say the guy don't turn this thing now, sir.
Okay.
Not bad boy now.
The bad boy. The bad boy.
Edie, do you have the me and yours picture?
No, I don't.
Anyway, you need to do pajamas. Me, I never ever do pajamas. That thing make me stress. It stress me.
This is your second Christmas with the baby, no?
Yeah, second Christmas. I don't. Sometimes I just feel like those things are as beautiful as they look. I just feel like
unnecessary pressure. I beg.
people
Stress
just
me.
feel the pressure to do it. It's not. I don't.
You know how much with
I
Christmas
don't
tree
know
now?
anybody-
400,000.
So, no. I mean, so what do you?
It's a beautiful thing.
So what do you do on Christmas Day?
It's a beautiful thing. Christmas indoors. I go eat my offense salad. No worry.
Nice.
Offense salad. I don't miss it on Christmas Day. I eat it with chicken. Make some really nice and we'll watch some TV. Thankfully there's no football, so we can watch football. I watch a movie with the family. So looking forward
All
to
the
it.
American sports are on that day. I know you follow. NFL, NBA.
Yeah,
I know they there.
Yeah,
I love the NBA.
I watch some of the Lakers games.
But why do they play on Christmas?
Because they don't get
It's
joy now.
big
They
part
don't
of
get
their
family
culture.
they go out to.
It's their tradition.
It's a big part of their culture.
Just like how we, British they play the New Year's.
Yes.
So yeah.
In English football, they used to play on Christmas Day
Christmas Day
until I
too.
think 1950.
Then they changed the boxing.
They changed it to
Boxing,
Boxing Day. But I love the Boxing Day fixtures.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I mean, one place the whole day.
Love it.
But Christmas Day for me, I wake up very early.
Yeah.
And I just want to be outside. I don't want to be inside the house.
Yeah.
That morning energy.
It's really good vibes. Just
That morning
being
air.
in the neighborhood. You live in a neighborhood where everyone is outside. They're killing. And Nigerians know how to turn on the style.
It depends on where your
I
neighbor
had to give this 35K
When
now,
you
so-
come outside, they smell
You go see
things when you
people
not
where
like.
normally they don't get chow, they don't get food. Area boys, Christmas Day like this, bros, you go see cow outside. They are cutting things. Things are happening. We just know how to turn it on.
that's in the
to
sweet.
make it happen.
Now
But-
the food be Christmas.
Yeah,
shawarma, not
that's
like
course.
the food.
I think that's our own version of Thanksgiving, no?
Yes, no.
Yeah.
I think we can say that, yeah.
And the
I sit
funny-
down family,
and-
my parents, we all come together with my wife.
Yeah.
We have the
So you're all in one place.
Yeah, so we go to my family house,
Right.
my wife and I, and then so that was what my family did, our own tradition growing up. So
Right.
my wife kind of joined that tradition. So New Year's we do with her family,
Right.
And then so she joined my own family's Christmas
Nice.
tradition.
And
Nice.
the funny thing is that I don't know how Nigeria is now, but growing up, Christmas was such a beautiful thing, because people bring food from outside,
no
your
try am
neighbors
again,
will
no.
bring food, give you go chop. Now, keep your food for your house.
So the thing there, just to tie
Put your house.
the thing when I like, Sha, na say, for the friends, especially for this city where we dey, for Lagos, it dey hard for you to connect to family, especially if you still not in the travel.
Yeah.
So the few friends I have that their parents are in town, we usually go to their house. So if you sabi cook a traditional meal, you go buy your ingredients.
Yeah.
You go do them. So last year we did it at Lakoya and it was so cool. It was my first Christmas on a lake. Baba, it was family vibes. We do karaoke, who dey for up there, who dey down there, who dey the other house when they by the water dinner. Then we adult go.
Yeah.
So Nigerians sabi the cash cruise.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
I
Lovely
say
stuff,
people
lovely
Nigerians
stuff.
dey
We know how to turn it on.
Lovely stuff.
crossed.
Lovely stuff.
Turn it on.
I think that you should spend your time with if you have elderly parents, spend your time with elderly parents.
Very important too.
I always say that, as they grow older, you might not have as much time with them anymore. So you want to have those times with them and try and make it special. But in celebrating and having lots of love and lots of energy, giving lots of joy, and feeling that love and joy, we also try to remember the people who we've lost in the year. And one of the people we lost this year, because he was a friend of the house on the podcast, was Ayo Adams. And
Also,
that was really sad because he spoke to us so eloquently well on the podcast. He was in Cote d'Ivoire with with the rest of you covering the AFCON. I'd never met him before, but I always just got good energy from him, on my timeline on Twitter. And we want to take a moment to be quiet. Yeah. So, may the souls of the people we lost, dearly departed, rest in peace. Amen. And I know he was a Muslim, so to his family and everybody who's who still misses him and will always miss him, we are thinking about you as well in this moment. So this is time where I cut the cake. Let's cut the cake. My birthday was December 15th. I think there's a knife somewhere there.
Now you buy this cake or they give you.
So someone gave me this cake. This cake is very special to me.
it doesn't matter. Cake is
Right.
there.
This cake is very special to me.
What do you want?
It's my initials, actually. It's my initials. But we have a cake. You know what? We'll cut it after the show. But gentlemen, I want to thank you very much indeed, Emeka, for making out the time. You're a new father, so congratulations to you on that. Enjoy the experience.
Thank you guys for always welcoming
it's special.
me. I feel like I'm part of the family.
Yeah,
you are.
You are part of the family, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. Anytime you guys need me, I'm always here.
Cheers, appreciate it. So you've had an interesting year. You made it through some very difficult moments in life, and you're one of the winning stories of this year. So congrats for all the wins. I see you growing a lot. So hopefully we have more work to do next year.
Yeah. Special shout out to the guys. Yeah. For everyone. I'm talking about you, especially UB. UB came to court, went to war with me.
We had to
make sure that I get some sort of justice. And we do this thing every day. We work every day. But sometimes you don't realize that you're actually creating friendships and relationships that, are not just professional. So thank you. Una, they make my day.
No, you made it. It wasn't easy. I don't know if you saw her pictures. She was badly, she was badly, beat up and everything. And she's a survivor. And I like to roll with people that have a real spirit about themselves, and that's really interesting. Coach, it's always nice to end the year with a special, upgrading your career. It's your first, professional gig. That's amazing. And for free, I can tell you, we're looking forward to seeing how you play and how the entire journey takes you. And when we see it, we'll talk about it. And hopefully, we have more good things to say about the team than bad things.
Hopefully, for sure. Glad to be here. Enjoy myself over the past 2 hours. So yeah. Good one.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you very much for coming. Gentlemen, I spend the time with you guys all the time. So enjoy your Christmas. I wish I could see you in New York because I'm getting out to spend time with my family. But IBK.
No,
he's not coming. Yeah, I'll see. We're working together in New York on the 30th, so that'll be great. Yeah,
they go with you too.
I won't go enjoy better.
Guinness is taking us. And I think it's important to also mention that IBK has been a very
take sword to that.
Yeah, she would. We'll go.
You get one fisherman soup.
I want hype.
Anytime you're in New York, anytime you're in New York, please, I would let you go to a place. When you come back, you will just ask me, make I send account number.
Yeah, that's good.
I agree. But yeah, IBK, Rufai asked me to tell you, that you're very professional. He enjoys working with you. Yeah. actually asked me to tell you that.
Rufai.
Yes.
Waiting
For real. He did. Not being on the show today. But the biggest thanks for all of us has to go to all of you out there who always comment on the podcast. I think we've had a very interesting dynamic with our listeners. We did our first community event and we had more people than we thought we would have there in the space, and I'm sure you saw that as well. Really nice images, and we're already getting asked, when we're going to do the next one. So we're going to do a next one. Hopefully, maybe we're not quite sure yet, but thanks to GigaWin because they made it happen, and for rocking with us. I think we work with a couple of brands here on the podcast, but they really showed us they believed in our projects, and the people who are in the team there, they really enjoy what we do. So thank you very much for that. We'll see you next year in 2025. Enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody, and have a happy New Year in advance. Bye-bye. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
You guys are amazing.
Bro, that was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Coach, thank you so much, man. I know you're a busy guy.